Welcome to 25/7 Tech. Today we're going to talk about solid state drives versus hard drives. There's a couple things we can discuss that will help you understand the differences between the two, why the cost difference exists, and what they bring to your experience with your laptop. First, we're going to talk about the hard disk drive. That drive has been around the longest, really since the beginning of home computers. So today you're going to find the most common hard drive is going to be a 7200 RPM drive. Now, what that means is there are some disks inside of that drive that are spinning with a read head and a write head. So those heads are going to be seeking information on the disks, similar to a CD, and then depending on how fast it's spinning, really kind of gives you the best performance as far as being able to retrieve the information and return it to your operating system. So older drives were 5400 RPM. Today you can get some high performance drives at 10,000 RPM, but they're not nearly as common. The most common you're going to find is 7200 RPM. As drives have evolved, really the most common size you'll find in most computers today is a 1 terabyte. That's the capacity that it can store. You can get 2 terabyte and upwards. There's even external enclosed hard drives that are going to be your 10 terabyte. So when it comes to what you can really use in most computers, you're going to put a 1 or a 2 terabyte in there, and that's going to give you the most capacity, the longest life, and reliable performance. Now, there are some limitations with that drive. So those drives are going to connect to your motherboard via a SATA connection, and that's how it connects to the motherboard and sends its information along. That interface is really limited to about 600 megabytes per second of data transfer. So there's not much more you can really do once you get past a certain speed, and then there's the ability for the information to cache and the cache size. All of that plays a factor in the performance of that drive. Most of your day-to-day computing is going to be just fine with that kind of a drive. You're going to be able to retrieve all of your information. It's going to perform just fine. Now, if you're looking at getting closer to gaming performance that you really need to boost your upload times, your boot times, then you got to talk about solid state. So solid state drives, they come in two form factors. You're going to have your SATA solid state drive, which is going to look very similar to your hard drive. But that solid state drive, it's not going to have disks inside that are spinning. It's going to be solid memory, similar to what's in your cell phone, and it's going to be able to read and write significantly faster. There's a lot of things that play into the cost of a solid state drive and the performance as well. Now, with the SATA solid state drive, it's still limited to that SATA interface, same as your spinning hard drive. However, it's going to perform faster. You're going to have faster boot times. You're going to have faster performance with your games. You see a SATA drive upgrade in PlayStation's gaming consoles because they don't have the other style of connector that solid state drives have. Now, when it comes to the other connector, that's your M2 or M.2 that's on your motherboard. You see this much more common these days in your average computer. In not many cases is it user replaceable. So in most gaming computers, there will be a panel on the bottom of the computer that you can insert that drive and get it working on your computer. Some computers come with them pre-installed. Some of them have them, like the Asus ROG line. Those models will more than likely have an M2 drive that is going to significantly improve your performance. If you're looking to upgrade your computer to an M2 drive, HP in their X360 line actually provides instructions on how to replace that drive or install one to give you the performance you need. There's some steps you're going to have to take in order to get that drive working, such as cloning your OS drive onto that drive. If you're going to be using it strictly for extra storage, you can then format it and it'll be mapped in Windows in order for you to use. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. Most people are going to use it as your operating system drive because that's going to give you really fast boot times. That's going to help you load games and do a lot of things much faster that you couldn't do as fast with the hard drive. Now, when it comes to solid state drives and the cost, so most of the time whenever you're searching for a solid state drive, you're going to find Samsung because they've really kind of taken over as the leader in performance solid state drives for the consumer market. So those solid state drives, you're going to find the latest series being the 970 series. You'll have the 970 Pro, the 970 Evo, and the 970 Evo Plus. Now, in order of cost, the Evo's the cheapest, then the Plus, then the Pro is going to be the most expensive. And a lot of people don't understand why. So why are they so much different in price whenever you're talking about capacity? So with the Evo drive, it's very basic, and the Evo and the Evo Plus actually, and the Pro, they use the same exact hardware on them. The Plus is their latest, the Evo Plus. They tout that as their flagship hard drive. So our flagship solid state drive. So that drive is very well optimized with its firmware. It's going to have better response to thermal monitoring and thermal conditioning, making sure that the drive has the longevity. Now, the Pro, the one thing you're going to notice is the Pro is significantly more expensive, around 75% more expensive by the capacity that you're looking for. So that drive, the reason why it's so expensive, it is much more durable in long-term use. So solid-state drives are measured by terabytes written. Your Pro drive is going to last significantly longer than the Evo Plus. The Evo Plus uses a cache, a single layer cell cache, that it could, over time, it's going to reduce that longevity. Now, as far as average use in the home, the Evo Plus that's what I use. That's what most people will use. That's going to give you the best benefit with the cost savings over the Pro, and it's going to give you just as good lifespan for really anything you're going to use as far as the lifespan of your computer. It's not like one day you're going to wake up and your hard drive is going to be dead. It's going to take a few years of a lot of use in order for that drive to exhaust its lifespan. Now, if you're running a media farm that you're going to be rendering media constantly, videos, the Pro is really, that's what's for you, but that's a very specific use case. And is the cost worth it to put in a home laptop that you might play games on every now and again? Probably not worth it. For me, I saw a dramatic improvement in performance with using the Evo Plus in my boot times, in my app load times, in my game load times. Everything is faster. The entire experience is better. Now, as far as the cost difference, what you're going to find is that a hard drive is going to be your cheapest option. It's going to give you the longest lifespan, but it's going to give you the least performance. I definitely recommend going with a solid state drive for your OS drive. That'll give you the best experience with your laptop, especially if it's a older or a slower laptop. It can really bring it up to what you would expect to have without having to replace the entire computer. You can get a 970 Evo Plus in the 1 terabyte capacity for right at $200 off of Amazon. They're easy to install, unless your computer, like the HP X360, you have to actually take the thing apart. Not horrible, but it can be done. So there it is. There's some differences between solid state drives and hard drives. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you like what we're doing, hit subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time.